So you can come kneeling on your mat and then just standing, kneeling upright, nod your chin and just round down. Try to keep your hips still in space. And then you may not go very far, and then just pick yourself back up one vertebrae at a time and let your head come to float on top. And then again, round down slightly one more time. Engaging through the backs of your legs, pressing your feet and shins down into the floor, round back up. And then this time you're going to round down, you're going to walk yourself to a all fours position. And once you find yourself in all fours, you're going to tuck your tailbone under, round your spine up towards the ceiling. And then lengthen through your spine, reach the tailbone away from the crown of your head, lengthening your chest. And then again, curl your tailbone under, round up. And then on your exhale, find your extension. And then again, rounding through your spine. Thinking that you have an even arch from your tailbone all the way to your shoulders, so you're not overarching one area more than the other. And then find a nice neutral spine, and then you're going to hike your right hip up to your right shoulder, look over your shoulder, and lengthen your spine long in the center, and then hike your left hip, look over your left shoulder. Creating space in the opposite side, so right hip, find the space and stretch to the left side, and then lengthen your spine, and then over to the other side. And then extend. One more time to each side. Last one. And then extend yourself into a nice neutral spine. Extend your right leg back behind you and bring your left hand behind your head. And then you're just going to rotate yourself open to the left and then come back to the center. And then come through and rotate yourself towards the right side, reaching your elbow towards your right wrist, and then open up to the left. Pressing your head into your hands and the other way around, just so that you're not pressing your head way out of alignment with your spine. One more. And open. And then reach down, opening up towards the right side. Bring your right knee underneath you. And then reach your right arm underneath, coming into more of a T-spine stretch here, reaching your left arm out towards the right side. You can bring your cheek to the floor and extend your right arm long if you'd like. And take 2 breaths here. One more. And then come all the way back up. Now reach your left leg long behind you. Bring your right hand behind your head, open up towards the right side, rotating around that left shoulder, and then reach it down towards the left wrist, and then back open. And back down. Taking your abs with you, don't let them hang towards the floor. Last one. And back down. Come to a nice neutral spine, and then thread that right arm underneath. Bring your left leg back underneath you, and then you can reach your left arm long if you'd like. Head to the floor, and take 2 nice deep breaths, breathing into the back of your ribs. And one more breath. And then come back up into all fours one more time. You're going to extend your right leg back behind you, and then float it up. And tap it down towards the floor and lift. And back down. Reaching long from the toe and the crown of the head in opposition, and your ribs are drawn in. Pelvic floor lifted and abs wrapped. 2 more. Last one. Leave your leg lifted and then bend it in underneath you and then reach it right back out. So you're not letting your leg come to the ground, you're just swinging it in and press out. Keeping your weight stable and even in both hands, so you're not leaning over to the left for 3, 2, and last one. Leave that leg long, lower onto the left forearm, and then externally rotate the right leg. And then you're going to bring the elbow towards your knee. No, you're going to bring your knee towards your upper arm and then reach it to the diagonal away from you. And then bring it in and reach it out. And in. And out. 5 more. 4. 3, knee is pointing straight ahead. 2. Last one, leave that leg externally rotated, lower it down and lift for 8. 7. 6. 5, good. Ribs are drawing in. 4. 3. 2. And last one, bring that knee underneath you and then come back up onto your hands. And then you're going to extend your left leg back behind you and then just float it straight up and then lower it back down. Not worrying about how high you're going, just think about lifting from where the hamstring meets the glute, lengthening long through that leg. Again, hands still right underneath your shoulders. 4 more. 3, 2. Last one, leave that leg lifted, bend it underneath, and extend. Bend and extend. Thinking like you have a rubber band from your sitting bone to your heel and you don't want to snap yourself as you extend your leg. So you're creating your own little bit of resistance. 2 more. Last one. Leave that leg long, come down onto your right forearm, externally rotate that left leg, and then you're going to bring it toward your left upper arm and then extend it long. And then bring it in and extend. 6 more. Neck is nice and long. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Leave the leg long and tap it down and lift for 8, 7, 6. Good. Ribs are drawing in, pelvic floor is lifted. 3. I can't count. Now 3, 2, and last one. Bring that knee underneath you, come up onto both hands, and then bring your knees wide and sit back onto your hips. Reach your arms long out in front of you as best you can. Take a big inhale into the back of your ribs. Feel them expand up towards the ceiling and out to the side. And then exhale. Feel yourself sink down towards the floor. One more time, inhale. And exhale. Find a little bit more space. One more breath. Good, and then walk your hands over to the right. Reach through the hands over on the right side and that left sitting bone to find space in the left side of your body. Take a breath or two here. And then when you're ready, come over to the left. One more breath. And then come back to the center and come back onto all fours, come back onto your knees. Take your thumbs, put them inside your hands, and then make a little fist. And then you're going to rock back and forth on the backs of your hands, getting a stretch. You may look like you have little gargoyle claws. Probably means we should stretch more. Good. And then bring both hands onto the floor, fingertips facing you, and then start to bring your knees back underneath you, and then you're just going to rock back and forth, getting a little stretch, trying to keep those heels on the floor as best you can. One more, just gently rocking, and then find a nice comfortable position, or as comfortable as you can, and then you're going to start to try to peel one heel of the hand off the floor at a time. Really stretching through the palm of that hand. Good. And then bring the palms back around, slightly out in front of your shoulders. Your hips are slightly back behind your feet, or knees rather. And then you're just going to do a little circle up, around, and back. Staying either in a neutral spine, or you can round and then uncurl your spine. Do what feels good. I'm going to stay in a neutral spine. One more time to the left. And then over to the right. 5 circles in this stretch. 4, 3, 2 more. And last one. Good. And then you're going to come to sit on your mat with your feet out in front of you. And then bring your hands underneath your thighs. And think about sitting up nice and tall. So you're stacking your head right on top of your sitting bones like your spine is going straight through the floor. And then take a big inhale here. And then exhale, feel your your legs be heavy in your hands. And you're going to start to round back like you're going to put your sacrum on the floor. So the low back is rounding faster than the shoulders are descending, creating space in the front of your body. And then lifting up towards the ceiling, straightening your spine. And then round back. You can also do this with your hands on your knees if that feels more comfortable, your choice. And then back up. 2 more. And lift. Last one, round halfway back. And then you're going to hold here, and you're going to float your right leg up, and then float your left leg up, keeping the weight of your feet in your hands. And then you're just going to extend your right leg, and then bend. And extend your left leg, and bend. Relax your shoulders. Keep thinking about that space in the front of your body and your hip flexors. Again, think sacrum to the floor. If this is too much, you can always drop drop both feet to the ground, not do this balancing. The last one. And then pull your knees in towards your chest, round forward. Come towards the front of your mat, actually, if you don't have space behind you. Pull your feet in, glue your heels together, and then grab onto the shins, round your spine, and then keep thinking about rounding so much that you roll back to your shoulder blades, and then up, and pause at the top. And then again, round back on your inhale, exhale up, and then pause at the top. Use your abs to help give you that stability at the top. 1 more. And then pause here. Place the feet down on the ground, and then give yourself a little hug. Shake your neck out, whatever feels good. Good. And then from here, sit with your legs nice and wide. Oh, we have a visitor. Hello. Bring your hands behind your head. Lengthen your spine up towards the ceiling, and then you're just going to rotate over towards the right. Rotating around your spine, and then lengthen your spine up towards the ceiling. What do you need to? And then over to the left. And to the center. And to the right. And center. 1 more time. Good, and then from here, extend your arms long out in front of you, and you're just going to round forward like you're coming over a beach ball. Over the legs, and then stack your spine up nice and tall. And then again, round forward like you're peeling yourself away from a wall. And stack your spine back up. 2 more. And stack the spine. Last one. Please stop. And then lower your hands down to the ground, and you're going to come over onto your right side. And you can be on your forearm and extend your top leg long. You're going to bring your left hand behind your head, and then you're just going to lift your left leg up off the floor. You're going to rotate your torso towards the floor, reach long with the elbow, and then reach that left leg back behind you. And then open your chest towards the ceiling as you sweep your leg forward, and then rotate towards the floor as you lengthen that left leg back behind you, and then lift back up. And rotate torso, reach long through that left leg, really feeling the opening through the front of your hip. And last one. And then pausing here, you can either have your left arm on the floor or on your hip, whatever feels good. You can also come all the way down onto your right side here. Your bottom leg is bent, your left leg is long, and you're just going to sweep your leg forward and then point and sweep it back. Again, finding that opening in the front of your hip. And then flex and bring it forward. And point and sweep it back. You can bring your left hand to your glute as well. And just feel that as you bring that leg forward, your sitting bone in your glute is kind of dropping back into your hand. And if you're not feeling that and you feel like it's pulling away, bend your knee and or reduce your range of motion. And back. 2 more. Last one. And then reach long through the leg as though you're going to stand on it. So your hips are stacked one on top of the other. Your abs are drawing in and your shoulder is away from your ear. And you're just going to lift that leg up above your hip and then lower it down a little bit below your hip. And then up above and down below. Just making sure that that hip isn't hiking as you lift and lower. So it's staying in that fixed position. 4 more. 3, 2, last one, and then pause with your leg at hip height. Internally rotate so your toes are pointing towards the floor, but have the rotation come from the top of the thigh. And then you're going to lower that leg down and then lift it up. So think about lowering with the toes, lifting with the heel in that internal rotation for 5, 4, Julio staring out the windows, loving life. 3, 2, last one, rotate the leg back to be in parallel, and then you're going to do circles for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, and then reverse for 5, 4, 3, 2, last one, bend that knee in, and then you're going to come up onto your forearm. Knees are either stacked one on top of the other or your leg is extended long, your choice. And you're just going to press up into a little modified side plank and then lower all the way down. And if you want to come into a full side plank, you are welcome to. I'm going to stick with the modification. And lift. Think even as you come down that your ribs are lifted away from the floor, so you're not sagging like this as you come down. You want to stay in a nice active position. 2 more. Making sure you're starting your breath before you move. Neck is nice and long. And then pause at the top. And then you're going to lower down for 8 tiny pulses. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, lower all the way down. And then come over onto your back. Make sure that if you have a ponytail, it's out of the way. You want your head flat on the floor. And then your hips are going to stay in neutral. And then, or you're going to find a neutral pelvis here rather. And then you're going to tuck your tailbone under, round your spine, curl your tailbone under, lift your hips up 1 vertebrae at a time, pressing your feet through the floor, a little drag up towards your shoulders so you engage the back of the leg. And then peel yourself all the way back down, 1 vertebrae at a time. And lift. Hips come towards the ribs. Peel yourself up, just to those shoulder blades. And lowering all the way back down. 1 more here. And back down. And then you're going to pause at the top. And you're going to bring your right leg up into tabletop, drawing your low abs down, and then tap that leg down. And lift it up. And down. And up. And down. 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Leave that leg in tabletop, drop your hips and lift for 6, 5, 4, okay, 3, 2, last one. Keep your hips lifted, lower that foot down, and then peel yourself all the way down 1 vertebrae at a time, and then you're going to roll over onto your left side. Well, my mat has been taken over. And again, you're going to start on your forearm. You're going to have your left leg bent, right leg long, hand behind your head. Lift now the right leg up, sorry. Press your body, your torso away from the floor so you're staying lifted. And then you're going to rotate towards the floor as you slide the left leg back behind you, reaching in opposition away from one another. And then sweep the right leg forward as you open up towards the ceiling. And sweep the leg back, open through the front of your hip, but not arching the back. 4 more. 3. Last one. And then you can either stay on your forearm or you can come down onto your side. I guess I'm going to stay on my forearm on this side. You're going to lift the right leg up and then flex the foot, hinge at the hip, and then point and sweep it back. Flex and hinge, and point and bring it back. Abs are staying engaged. If you're, regardless of where you are actually, on the floor all the way or on your forearm, keep thinking about lifting from those lower ribs. I'd love my mat back, Julio. 3 more. 2. And last one. Bring the leg just in line with your hip, lower it down, and then lift it up. You can have it come slightly above your hip, but either way, just keep a consistent range of motion for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one. And then lower that leg down. Now you're going to internally rotate. So internally rotate from the top of the leg. The toes are going to point down. Lift from the heel, lower from the toe. And lift from the heel, lower from the toe. I'm doing this weirdly because my arm hurts. And lift. Lift. For 5, 4, 3, working that outer glute. 2. And last one. Rotate the leg back to parallel and then circle for 8, 7, 6, 5. I have a pillow. 4, 3, 2. Last one, and reverse your circle. And sometimes I wonder why my leggings are never just black and they're always covered in fur. 2 more. And last one, lower that leg all the way down. Come back up onto your forearm if you're not there already. You can have your knees stacked or your leg out long, your choice. And you're going to lift yourself up into a little side plank and then lower all the way down. Press into the foot, press in the forearm, and lift. And lower down for 5, 4. You can always reach your arm up towards the ceiling. 3, 2. Last one, pause at the top. And small pulses for 8, 6. Just down and up an inch. Keeping that core engaged the whole time for 3, 2. Last one, lower all the way down and then come onto your back again. Okay, so this time we're going to start again with those pelvic tilts. So just curl the tail and under, gently press the low back into the floor, peel yourself all the way up, 1 vertebrae at a time, pressing the feet through the floor, and then curl it down 1 vertebrae at a time, finding a little bit of extra space. And back up, hips towards the ribs as you exhale. Peel up, ribs close. Lower all the way back down. And up. This time you're going to stay lifted. Stabilize yourself on that right leg. Your left leg's going to come up into tabletop and then lower it down. And lift. And lower. 4 more. 3, 2. Last one, pause with that leg in tabletop and then lower it down for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, Last one, lower the leg all the way down, curl the tailbone under, lift your hips up a little bit more. If it feels good, you can bring your arms back overhead, and then you're going to peel down one vertebrae at a time. Think about putting your hips down a little farther from your head than they started. And then bring one knee into your chest and bring the other knee in to meet it and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. Good, and then from here, you can lower your left leg down and then bring your right leg into tabletop and bring your left arm up in line with your shoulder. And you're gonna reach that arm overhead as you extend your right leg long and then bring it up in line. Knee over hip, hand over shoulder. Extend long and resist it back in. And extend. Really trying to find all the stability through your core. Ribs are wrapped, pelvic floor is lifted, and transverse are also wrapped. 3 more. 2. And last one. Pause here. Keeping your hand where it is, let your right leg fall out to the side like it's an open book, and then come back up. Knee stays in line with your foot. Left leg stays still. 3 more of just the leg. 2. Last one. Pause with the leg at the top. Now you're going to do the leg and the arm. Both come out to the side in opposition. 4 more. 3. 2. And last one. Pause here, bring your right arm up, lower your left arm down, and then open right arm, right leg out to the side and back in. Really keeping the weight even between your hips so you're not rolling all your weight into that right side. You may have to modify how far out to the side you're going with that leg. For 3. 2. Last one. Pause at the top and then arm and leg reach in opposition for 8. 7, just feel how this changes the feeling rather in your obliques. Stabilization's a little different here. 3 more. 2. And last one. Lower that leg down. Lift the left leg up into the air. And now right arm, left leg. Breathing before you initiate your movement. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. Pause at the top, leave your right arm where it is, open the left leg out to the side, and then resist it back in. Feel the connection still between your inner thighs to your pelvic floor. Both inner thighs are working together, even though the right leg isn't moving. For 4. 3. 2. And last one. Now you're going to move the arm and leg in opposition away from one another. Because the arm's going out to the side, you may find your range of motion can be bigger. They sort of balance each other. But keep thinking about those slings across your body. So from like the left inner thigh to the right shoulder, and from the left inner or right inner thigh to the left shoulder. You have like a little X across your body. It's all working together. For 3. I think we only have 1 more. You could lower the right arm, lift the left arm, open the left arm, left leg out to the left side, and resist back in. And open out to the side, and back in. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one. Pause at the top, arm and leg, reach in opposition on the same side. Making sure you're not creating tension in your stomach. You're not pressing your abs up towards the ceiling. They're just gently engaged. 3. 2. Last one. Bring both knees into your chest. Give yourself a little rock from one side to the other, and then we're gonna build on to that for a second. You're gonna bring both knees into tabletop, so knees under your hip, over your hips more or less, or slightly in towards you, whatever feels good. Both arms lift up towards the ceiling. Right arm, left leg, and back in. And then left arm, right leg. Taking away the stability of having a foot on the ground. And back in. One more time to each side. Good, and then both arms, both legs out to the side like you're opening a book, and close the book. And open, and close. Hips are nice and heavy. Really feel the lift of your pelvic floor in as you bring those legs in. 3, 2, last one. Lower the right leg towards the floor, lift it back up. Left leg towards the floor, and up. Alternating one side and then the other. You can always drop your arms if you prefer, or leave them up for a little additional challenge. Whichever leg isn't moving is staying still. You can bring one hand to your abdominals, make sure you're not pressing out. One more time to each side, to the right and to the left. And then here, glue your legs together as though you only have one leg. You're gonna lower your leg away from you and then bring them back in. And again, hands can come down to the floor and back in. This doesn't need to be a big movement. You can also drop your heels towards your butt and just do this thinking about moving your quads away from you and bring them back in. For me, this works the best to really get into my abs without pressing them up towards the ceiling. 2 more. Last one. And then bring both knees in. Bring your right knee in. Extend your left leg long. Reach through the heel. And think like someone's pressing your thigh on your left leg away from your right leg. So you get a stretch through that left hip flexor. And then from here, plant the right leg down. Reach so long through that left heel that your leg floats off the floor. Feel the lift all the way through the inner thigh, into the psoas, and lower down. And again, lengthen through the leg, reach and lift through the back of the leg, and down. 4 more. Three. Beginning your exhale before you lift the leg. 2. And last one, lift the leg. Pause with it lifted and then come out to the side just an inch or so and back in. And out to the side and in for 6. 4 more. 3, 2, last one. And then place the heel on the ground, then drag it all the way in until that knee comes in toward your chest. And then drag the right heel away from you, slide the heel out, and then take that nice hip flexor stretch on the right side. Good, and then plant your left foot on the floor. Reach long through that right heel and then float the leg up just a few inches off the floor and then lower back down. And lengthen and lift. Exhale before you go. Three more. Two, make sure you're not clenching that left glute. Last one, leave that leg lifted just a few inches off the ground. Drag it out to the side to a tiny little angle and back in. And feel the length of the inner thigh as you go out and the contraction of the inner thigh and pelvic floor as you come in. 3 more. Again, not clenching that left glute. 2. And last one. And then lower that leg down, drag it in. Bring your feet as wide or wider than your hips, and then you're just gonna windshield wiper your knees from one side to the other. Good. And then bring your right leg up into tabletop. Exhale, bring the left leg up to meet it. Keeping your legs together. You can always drop your heels if you'd like. You're going to let your knees fall over to the right. Your left hip can lift ever so slightly and then come back to the center. And then over to the right and back to the center. And to the right. Shoulders stay on the ground. And again, if you can have your knees all the way at a 90-degree angle, that's awesome. But if you're not there, I'm not yet. That's totally fine. If you want this to be harder, you're going to straighten your legs. One more time to each side. To the left. Good. Grab onto both knees, drop your heels by your butt, and then you're just going to do little circles here. Really press down, feel the femurs being heavy in the hip socket, and reverse. Think about stirring a pot. Your femur is the spoon, or spatula, whatever. Last one. Good, and then you're going to come onto your stomachs. Having your hands right underneath your shoulders. You can have your head to the side to start. We're just going to take a stretch for a moment. You're just going to gently rock your hips from one side to the other, shaking out that low back. And then find yourself in the center. And then you're going to think about just tucking the tailbone under ever so slightly, feeling a lift through those abdominals, the closing of the ribs, the wrap of the TVA, and your pelvic floor is also lifting. From here, you're going to bring your hands back by your sides, palms up towards the ceiling. Nose just floats on the ground, and then reach your fingertips back, not changing the position of your abdominals. Lift up. And then lower all the way down. Just tap the nose, shoulders still stay lifted off the floor, reach through the arms and lift. Keep thinking of that tuck of the tailbone, pressing your pubic bone and hips into the floor. Abs should not be pressing into the ground. And lift for 4, 3. Really think about lifting through the triceps, lifting through the arms. 2 more. Last one, reach, stay lifted. If it feels good, float your right leg off the floor, float your left leg, reach your arms up even higher. And then you're going to start to lift the right leg, left arm, and flutter. Here for 10. 9, keep breathing, abs are not pressing into the floor for 3, 2. Last one, lower everything all the way down, bring one cheek to the floor, and then shake your hips out again. And then bend your knees and windshield wipe your feet from one side to the other now. Good, and then you're going to press your hands underneath your chest and then peel yourself back up into all 4s. Tuck your tailbone under, round your spine up towards the ceiling. And come into extension here once more. And then tuck your toes under. We're going to finish with a bear plank and some tricep push-ups before we do a nice stretch. So from here, take a big inhale, and then exhale, draw your abs in, float your knees up, and then lower down. Inhale at the bottom, exhale to lift. You can hold for a breath, and then you're going to lower back down, and lift. And lower. And lift. This time you're going to lift and hold. Extend the right leg back behind you, left leg back behind you, find your plank. Right knee comes underneath, left knee comes underneath. This time left leg is going to go out, right leg find your plank, tailbone slightly tucked under, left knee in, right knee in, hold. One more time to each side, right leg, left leg, find your plank, right leg in, left leg in, hold. Find your plank, left leg leads. Really wrapping those abdominals, left leg in, right leg in, and then lower all the way down. Give yourself a little shake out, whatever feels nice for a second. And then from here, you're gonna have your knees right underneath your hips. And you're gonna come all the way down so that your your forearms are completely on the ground. Press into your hands, come up. And lower all the way down to the floor. And press up. 8 more. Forearms to the floor. Press through the hands, find your tabletop. So your chest is lowering as the hips are lifting towards the ceiling. 3 more. 2. Last one. Good. From here, walk your knees back behind you ever so slightly. Find yourself in a nice modified plank, unless you would like to be in a full plank, your choice. And you're going to come down for push-ups for 5. 4. Pressing the floor away, elbows come back by your hips. Abs stay lifted, tailbone is slightly tucked under. Crown of the head reaches away from you. 2 more. Exhale and you're up. Last one. And sit back onto your heels. Bring your knees wide if you'd like. Find a nice child's pose here. And we'll end with a nice mermaid. So you're going to come to sit with your right shin parallel to the short end of your mat and your left leg parallel to the long end of the mat. And you're just going to place your left hand on the floor, right hand right in the crook of your hip, crease of your hip. And then you're going to press into that left hand, spiral yourself up and around. You're lifting that right leg or right glute off the floor. And then just spiral yourself back. Try to find a little length. If you can, try to think about reaching that right sitting bone towards the floor. Looking up over your shoulder and then back down. One more time like this. Good. Find that spot where your sitting bone on the right side is either touching the floor or almost the floor, but it's like magnetized there. It's not going to go anywhere. Reach your arms out to a T. Lower the right hand. Lift the left arm up overhead. I am only going to do a side bend with my hand behind my head because my arm hurts. Really think about finding length through that left side and then counter stretch over towards the right. And then back over to the left or over your legs. Really think about keeping that right hip glued down over to the opposite side. We're going to do this one more time. And last counter stretch, and then we'll switch sides. Come all the way up. Sweep your legs around in front of you. So right leg with the long side, left leg with the short side. Right hand plants on the mat, left hand onto the crease of your hip, and spiral yourself up and open, finding the opening in the front of your hip here, and then crease the hip. Find that connection with the floor, keeping your torso nice and upright. Lift up and around. And up. And then from here, you're finding that connection. You're glued down, or it's a little magnet. Lift the right arm overhead, side bending towards the left. Breathing into those right ribs. And then counter stretch over towards the right. And back to the left. 2 more. Over to the right. Last one. And to the right. Come all the way up onto your knees. Plant your hands on the ground, curl your toes under, shift your weight back onto your heels so that you're sitting like a little gargoyle. Lots of gargoyles today. Feet are planted or heels as close to the floor as possible. Round forward. Take a nice breath into your back, drop your head, and then slowly start to lift your hips. Peel yourself up, one vertebrae at a time. Reach the arms up overhead. And then exhale, press down through the arms, grow nice and tall like a little corkscrew, and let your arms find their place by your side, and you are all finished. Thanks.